Tiffany.
And this is the Evolved Esther Jade.
And y'all know who we are. But if you don't, it's the Girl What Podcast. And today our episode is simply called The Audacity.
Oh, yes.
Because, you know, it's running wild these days. So, we're going to hop right into our first segment. What's the tea, sis? And the subtopic is called I Said No.
And it's a whole sentence.
Period. With a period at the end.
Okay, folks, this episode may seem like our feet are on necks. While that's not our intention, we'll also know hit dogs holler. So if you scream while listening to any part of this podcast today, you might just want to reflect on why you were uncomfortable and do what's necessary to make the right changes. First up, we're talking about the audacity some people have. More specifically, I'm going to take that word off, white women. Making themselves look like the victim after someone tells them no, and they still try to proceed with what they wanted to do. No is a complete sentence, point blank, no explanations needed, so don't ask us why.
And we seeing on that.
Right? That's why Mary had a little lamb.
Bah. All right, so Esther, I'm going to ask you the first question.
All right.
Do you think society still protects white womanhood automatically in public conflicts?
Yes, I think society at large does, yes. I think there are white people who are John Browns that don't like other white people. And that's growing by the day.
That part.
And I'm here for it. And we still haven't gotten to that place of accountability, right?
For sure.
So when we're trying to hold them accountable, but even just saying no, this is their reaction because they're throwing a temper tantrum because they don't get to have their way.
And I definitely agree with that. And then one thing I'm not saying I chuckle, but honestly, it's something that has become so normal. It's like it upsets you, but at the end of the day, you still kind of just be like, okay, this is what's normal. So even just coming down to that, I was scrolling earlier and, they were talking about the mother who had killed her newborn because she thought that having her baby would interrupt her having a high ranking position at, I forgot, it was like a top of the line car company. So she killed a child. They used her headshot, her professional headshot as her photo.
Excuse me? Not her mugshot?
No. They used her professional headshot as her photo. And so, people were like, when you see this, you would never have any idea what she was in the news for, because it's like, okay, this headline, is a beautiful picture, all dolled up and everything. And then, of course, everybody's like, if this would have been a black person, even if they had no mugshot, they would have found the most busted up picture, would have tried to make up some sort of,
she did this mistake 10 years ago.
Listen, when she was 12,
yeah,
she killed her dog. Right. You know what I'm saying? They gonna dig and dig deep.
Take an inch and make it into a mile.
Right. So it's, like you said, I definitely think, society, y'all need to do better. Y'all, yes, y'all, not us.
Plural.
Y'all. And when we say y'all, we know exactly, who you are.
Because we didn't create this mess. So why are tears sometimes treated like evidence? Your face. I wish y'all could see it.
Why are tears treated as evidence? Because again, it's their skin color. Because I could do the same, thing. It's like, oh my God, something happened to me. I think I'm like, girl, wipe your face. We gonna do whatever. But again, it's
what's for dinner?
Right, girl. You want something from the stove. You know what I'm saying? But again, because of the caucasity.
Well, that's how I act when they do that. I don't my face goes blanker than Oscar the Grouch.
Straight face.
And I look at someone else to pass the tissues.
Or even sometimes not even being funny. It's sometimes where I might even laugh. You know what I'm saying? Because it's for what? Your theatrics are not going to work for me. So you can dry it on up or if you need to go into the corner, have your moment. And then when you get better, we can have a conversation. But no, you're not phasing me at all. At all. So, yeah. Why is it treated like evidence? Because of their skin color. Point blank, period.
Well, you mean we can get into that whole conversation about whiteness being created. I really think everybody's a brown person.
They just
yeah, exactly. They lack the
lack of melanin.
Exactly.
Let me say that their lack of melanin.
They still brown.
Allows them to get away with more.
But just what do they call it? What's the The people who have no color in them.
Albino.
Yes, they're albinos.
I wouldn't even do that. Don't judge
No, I
albino
won't.
people
No.
like that.
Sorry to my albino. I can't even talk. Albino brothers and sisters. Please, I beg your forgiveness for that comparison. Have social media cameras changed who gets believed in confrontation?
I would say yes, to an extent, though. Because again, in a lot of cases, again, just kind of going back to even the previous question of evidence. Mm-hmm. Now that we have these cameras, it's like, okay, you're seeing firsthand what we saw.
Yep.
So it's not a he said, she said type of thing. It is a, oh, hey, let me pull up what I recorded, so you can use this. While it still sometimes may not be in the person, like, someone's best interest, it definitely is there. And for those people in, the courts and the lawyers and everything like that, for those who do things, correctly, that definitely can be beneficial for them.
But do you think in most cases, even having that evidence, say it does make it to court? Because there was I'll give an example. I saw something recently. I may have shared it with you. It was a black woman, and there's this woman. She was either white or, and she could have been like Latina and white, but she was yelling at this woman, calling her all sorts of names, and this woman, the black woman, was telling her to leave her alone, and she ended up putting hands on her, and she was laying in the street like crying.
I've seen plenty of those.
And I could see, I'm not gonna lie, I feel I'm not one for violence. Let make that clear. I am not for violence. But something in me feels very satisfied when I see someone, FAFO.
Look, I was about to say, faith around and find out. Okay? Because, no, that's enough is enough and too much stink, as my grandma used to say. Ooh. Because, again, it's like, it's been repetitive. Like, okay, I always tell people, I have a big red button that says don't push. You keep pushing that button, you're going to find out what happens when the button erupts. So yes, like, it's always never, someone immediately turning to violence or resulting in violence. They're giving you, they're being calm. They're giving this person that option to walk away, to not have to deal with the repercussions of their actions. But they keep taunting and poking the bear, poking the bear. The bear going to erupt eventually if you keep poking it.
That's true.
So it's like, okay, don't turn around and play victim now, because you were warned on numerous occasions. So don't, again, cry me a river. Cry me. I don't have time for it. I don't.
Listen, I'm right there with you. That's why I laugh, because I have no sympathy for someone who FAFO.
Yeah.
You were warned. Have you ever had someone keep pushing you after you clearly told them no?
Again,
would you like to share with our listeners?
Oh, look, and there have been many situations. And again, I think, and then for me personally also, because I'm that person who does have a calm demeanor, and it's
you do.
I will tell you, and I'll be like, hey, like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, and I will probably give somebody more opportunities than they need to.
Oh, you're better than me.
Before popping off. And so there, like, even recently, there's a situation with this guy at the food pantry.
That guy?
It's been, girl, it's so many, and I'm not even trying to be funny. So it's this older man, and it's like, and the crazy thing is, even though I know this is coming down, like, this is mostly about color, but this is an older black man. And we have certain stipulations and rules that we have to follow. One of them being, like, if in our system it doesn't show that you have children in your home, we make like little bags specifically for the kids to give them, or to give the parents that have the children. He doesn't have any kids listed under his name. Okay. So he went to the other lady, and she told him, like, no, you can't get any. So he comes over to me and tries to...
Oh, he tried to play the system.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, no, sir. Like, if she didn't give you any, I'm not giving you any, because she checked you in so she could see your information. Girl, he went off on me. I'm 67 years old, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, sir. Like, and again, I'm like, sir. I was like, there's no need for you to be raising your voice. I'm talking to you calmly. I'm cool, collective. So you can move on. If you still want food, you can get your food. He still stands there. Keeps going.
You a saint.
And finally, listen, no, and this is the thing, because, like, again, especially at the food pantry, they know I'm super chill. Like, my voice ain't gonna be raised until somebody is really either irking me or something is going on for real. So finally, like, I start yelling back at him, and he was the last person too. So also, like, you coming in late and then you trying to start drama? No, sir. So the head pastor comes over and he's like, she don't be yelling for nothing, so I'm gonna need you to go on, because it's like, no,
if you're yelling, it's serious.
Don't poke the bear.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, once the bear is out, like, it was at to the point where I was shaking, and that's how you know you don't really piss me off, if I'm shaking. So yeah, no, like, bruh, I don't care how old you are, you still need to show me respect. And once that respect went out of the door for me, then you lost it as well.
I would have said something real smart to make him feel bad. Girl, you are a saint. That's all I got to say about that one.
And what about you? Have you ever?
Yes. I'm trying to think of the moment that was. Oh, yes. I was at lunch with my uncle back in November, and we were at a restaurant, and it was like a brewery type of thing, and he wanted to try some of the different beers. I wasn't really going to do that because it's the middle of the week. Or day, excuse me. And I'm not a beer person anyway. I just like the wings there. And so we go, and the guy behind the counter is asking my uncle what he wants. He's like, oh, do you want to try any? I said, no. He's like, oh, well, we got this one. This is really good. I said, no, I'm good.
Right.
He does it again. I said, I'm good. And throughout, he did it twice before, again, after that. And I had to, let him know, like, I said no the first time. I mean, do you have a hearing aid in? Yeah.
And if you do, turn it on, because clearly it ain't working. Go check the batteries.
Yeah.
Because again, no is a complete sentence. Like, don't keep pestering me. If I tell you no, that's cool. I also have the right to change my mind. So if I choose to change my mind, great. But if I say no, leave it at that.
You want to ask the next question?
Why do people suddenly act shocked when consequences show up after they've ignored the boundaries?
Because they've been duped in thinking that nothing happens to them. Like, they are entitled to do these things to people, right? Because their mama, their daddy, their community, whoever told them so. And they came outside and then got mollywopped.
And then that's the thing also, just kind of going back to what you said earlier, like, if the tables were turned, even if there were no, I'm saying no, I'm never gonna say that. But if it was a Caucasian person who had told a black person no, and then the black person kept taunting them or kept doing whatever, it would be all over this and that and the third. And so just kind of going back to some of the earlier questions combined, like, with the camera systems now, or stuff being recorded and it being sent out there more, or being out, a lot of people unfortunately just put it on social media rather than using it as evidence, like, with police and things like that. But it's just like, okay, these are the situations where we're seeing recordings of white people just being like, oh, whatever, I hear what you said, but I'm not paying what you said any mind.
No, let's not just say it's white people now. It's anyone who assigns themselves to the whiteness. And that could be anyone that's melanated.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is because this idea of whiteness and colorism and things like that makes these people feel emboldened because they have a target. And you said something interesting about the how if a black person was told no by a white person and the black person kept taunting, what came to my mind was black excellence. Sorry, y'all. Black excellence. Because we have to show up in a way or stay calm in a situation, which is really can hurt. I mean, it does impact our nervous system and adds to the trauma, which is crazy work, right? That we have to endure trauma even when there's no physical violence.
Right.
But with that being said, we're going to come back from this commercial break on Girl What? Podcast. This segment of Love, Baby, and Other Grown Folks Business comes to you from Amazon best-selling author Dr. J. Wood. Dr. Wood's newest poetry collection, A Little Piece of Heaven, is moving hearts and making a real impact in communities right now. And she needs your support. She is currently in the running for Author of the Year 2026, which is awarded by the International Impact Book Awards, and your vote can help put her over the top. Here's what you need to know. Each person gets one vote for one author, so make yours count. All votes must come in by August 31st, 2026. Find the voting link directly in our Instagram bio and in our Season 2, Episode 7 YouTube description, or head straight to apply.internationalimpactbookawards.com/public-voting-form and cast your vote right now. And while you're at it, discover more of Dr. Wood's beautiful work at alwaysapoet.com. A little piece of heaven is waiting for you, and Dr. Wood is waiting for your vote. Now, today's topic is 10-day trial extended. So I'm going to start off and ask you the first question, Lo. Why do people start acting like a spouse before becoming a partner?
Because that's what the other partner allows. There are lacks of conversations these days. Conversations and communication is pretty much dead. So people are going to go off of what they assume rather than having straight up conversations or asking those questions that some may deem as hard. And
let's go with the flow, Lo.
Right. I would much rather have a hard conversation and have my feelings hurt than make this up like, oh yes, this is my man, da 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 da. And then when I'm getting introduced, oh, this is my friend. You know what I'm saying?
Burn.
Like, and I've seen that so much, and I'm just like, ooh, clearly y'all need to go back to the drawing board.
Oh, speaking of which, what do you think about the whole Meg Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson? Because she was very much acting like a wife.
Yeah,
and Jethro said, I don't want to be monogamous. That's what happens,
you see, I'm
right?
just fixing my stuff over here. Yeah. But like, no, again, like,
that's a good example, though.
So this is my thing, right? Because I'm a big Meg fan.
I am too.
She wants love, and she wants it bad.
I love love.
Yes,
for her,
and she deserves it.
Yeah,
but comma space. I need my girl to slow down. I need her to
take a breath.
Yes, and even like, you know, I mean, and I understand it's not like she has been like one of those back to back people that's been in relationships, but again, because you are in the eye of everyone, it's like it's okay to take time for yourself to recuperate, to heal, because again, like, you was cooking meals not only for him, but she was cooking for his family, everything like that. And it's just like, of course everybody's seeing that, and of course you didn't pass it on to me. Look,
you're welcome.
Being so happy, you know what I'm saying, like, she's sharing all this stuff on her socials as well, but then at the end of the day it's like, F that.
But here's the thing,
and all that. So it's just like, girl,
but here's the thing, every place you go is small, right? Hollywood is small, right? He used to date Coco Jones. He cheated on her. He is a slore in the celebrity world. He has dated a bunch of celebrity women, and a lot of his relationships have ended because he was unfaithful. It doesn't take a Dick Tracy to figure that out.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying it's Megan's fault, but unfortunately, women have to vet. You gotta vet while you're dating. You gotta vet while you're in a relationship.
Or even that, like, not even. This
Unfortunately,
is one thing, again. So I didn't know about this man. Look, what Kiki said. I don't know who that man is, and I didn't
just
know
a few
who he was before.
keystrokes.
But then, you know what I'm saying, girl, I ain't care enough to even look.
See, exactly.
But the thing is, like, if you know that he again was a serial cheater, like, don't be that person who thinks that you're enough to change
to me. I'm so special,
right? Like, it's like, if 1 + 1 has always equaled 2, baby, it's not gonna equal 3.
Yeah, don't be in the land of Delulu land.
Right. So that's just. All right. My question. I'm gonna go down a little bit. Why are some people requesting husband or wife treatment on a situationship budget?
Because they want everything for nothing. They don't want to work for it. They want people to accept them at their lowest, and that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb. And that's what I have to say on that.
Oh gosh. See,
you know I'm gonna serve it hot and straight.
That's not, again, like, I'm gonna tell you.
What do you think?
This whole thing, just again, for those of y'all that are just tuning in, the topic of today, or the topic is the audacity.
Yes.
So again, just going back, like, so many people just have the audacity to be like, all right, we're in whatever we want to be in, but then you're expecting the most when you are giving the least. Like, the math is not mathing. You don't, like, and then and I hate to say this, but then these are also the people that end up getting hurt the worst. And I can say this because I've been in that situation. Like, you know, I've been dumb to it. So, you know what I mean? Like girl.
I think everybody's been
looking
dumb.
back, I'll be like, really?
You know? Yeah.
Really?
What they say? Hindsight is 20/20.
But it's just like, and I think it sucks now because, of course, now that we've been through it and we see like younger people going through it, it's like you want to try to stop them or change it.
And it's even not younger people. It's even people our age that keep making the same mistakes.
Well,
thinking
I'm not
that
trying to help them.
Yeah, well, I'll throw up smoke signals for the youngins, and I'm like,
Yeah.
look, I'll preface it with this. Look, I want love for you. I love for you, and this is why I'm trying to give you game. And why I want to help you out, because I want to see you win. It's not about I'm jealous or anything, because guess what? I'm living my best life unbothered, full of joy and love and peace. You hear that last part?
Emphasis.
Peace.
Emphasis. Yeah.
So I have no qualms. Like I don't get, jealous of people's situations.
That's fine. And that's another thing too. Like, I will, just speaking of jealous of situations, when I was in college, I will never forget this day. Me and two of my homegirls, like, of course, during your college days, that's when you was always, whenever you got the opportunity, you taking pictures, right? Taking pictures. So we was at a stop. It was a red light. And we're taking pictures, right? But, of course, we're on the right side, so there's a car on the left side. No lie, we hadn't even paid attention to this car at all, right? So we're taking our pictures. This girl rolls her window down. Y'all trying to take pictures of my man? He was like, girl, what? Look, girl, what? Because how insecure do you have to be?
All the way.
And 9 times out of 10, honestly, that probably won't even her man.
My man.
Because the whole time he sat there and
he probably was embarrassed, wasn't he?
He didn't even know that, like, he hadn't paid attention to us. Like, again, we don't notice y'all. He clearly didn't notice us either. So, girl, you sitting here blowing up for what? For why?
You should have told her to go sit on that lady's couch.
How much your sessions, boo? Or are they covered by your insurance?
Right. So that brings me to this question. When did we hanging out become you owe me emotional labor? Oh, man, your face is like deadpan.
It didn't. But that's the thing. So, again, people create these false narratives in their mind. And so it's like, oh, my God, like, oh, yes, we still hanging out, we chilling, we doing this, and that, and the third. And then why is it just because I want to hang out with you that it becomes, oh, my God, like, let me do this, and that, and the third. And honestly, that's any kind of ship. And that's what I'll say, like, friendship, relationship, situationship, anything. Like, just because, we're chilling and we're hanging out, don't trauma dump on me. I do honestly think that's kind of selfish, because it's like, what if I'm going through something and you're putting all of your weight on me, so it's causing me, especially me as an empath, you're causing me to feel what you're feeling as well, on top of whatever I may be going through. So it's like, okay, like, going forward, when I'm around you, I'm 9 times out of 10 probably going to make sure that there's other people around us, so you don't have that opportunity to have those one-on-one conversations. Or if I'm feeling froggy, I'm going to straight up tell you. Because it's like, of course, some people are still very sensitive. So it's like, you can't really be like, oh, hey, like, you need to ask me these kinds of things. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things, just like, depending on the person, like, don't make me feel like I have to do any type of emotional work to better our situation, or to even keep our situation at a playing field, because not only will that make me not want to be around you, it's going to exhaust me personally.
I think that, to answer how I would say that question is, because I've been guilty of that, of like, I won't say trauma dumping, but like offloading like saying something happened and sharing the story. But when I think of emotional labor, I'm making them work through my emotions for me, right? Like, oh, what should I do? I think telling someone an experience you had is totally different than dumping that on someone and having them do the work for you. I think sometimes people get comfortable, and I think specifically as women, we're not used to setting boundaries, because that's not how we've been socialized. So that can be a very awkward thing for women to try to do from jump. I don't have a problem with establishing boundaries.
We don't.
No, we don't. No, but
that's why I laugh. I'm like, girl, yeah. This ain't it. This ain't the time, not the place.
But I agree with you that it just depends on the person how you approach it too, right? Because I had a situation like that was recent where I felt like I was doing emotional labor for this person, and that backfired on me. And I did mention it, and then to a third party, and the third party was like, well, in the past you've done this, and I'm thinking, what does that have to do with today?
Yeah. And
for me, I like to address things right in the present. I think that helps things instead of carrying weight.
Right.
And I think that's another thing that to me sticks out as emotional labor. If you're going to be carrying this bucket of emotions for 4 or 5 years or however long, when you could just resolve it then.
Right.
Right.
And even if you choose not to resolve it, still let me say this. If you don't resolve it with that other person, you can at least resolve it within yourself.
Exactly.
And get rid of that weight.
Go sit on that lady's couch.
Or even if you don't want to sit on a couch, like you have journal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some people are like, unfortunately, they don't like therapy. So it could be, you have journals.
And I don't like hearing somebody's sob story 10,000 times.
So that's, I'm like, you have different, there are alternatives to therapy that you could use rather than you talking somebody's ears off constantly about one particular situation, and honestly, that's typically what it is. There's one situation that will happen, and it's like, even if you offer advice on how you would handle it, they're still talking about it, and they're still talking about, like, look, and that's, and again,
can't let it go,
being straightforward. I've had people do that, and I'm like, look, I didn't told you what I thought, so if you want to talk to somebody else about it, you can, but it's X-nay here. Like, we done. You know what I'm saying? So, that part.
Have social media and dating apps made people too comfortable with blurred lines?
Yeah.
You don't think that's always been?
No.
You don't think so? Okay.
I don't.
I think it's always been a thing. Social media just made it hyperized it. I'm sure I'm using that word wrong, but who cares?
And I say that because, like, of course, I started college when Facebook literally started, right? So, of course, that's the Facebook, MySpace, all those days. And
I remember MySpace.
Yes, I loved it, right? But it was one of those things where I feel like, well, let me say, for me. Let me say that, for me. Me and my circle, actually. And I went to an all-girls college. So we weren't looking for people online to, like, hook up with or do stuff. We looking at where's the party? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it was that. So it was
the watering hole.
It was straight, right. It was straightforward kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, once we got our crews, because we were around a bunch of HBCUs as well. So it was like, oh, okay, even though we had a PWI, we are in walking distance of HBCUs. So we know who we need to hit up, like, what's going on y'all's campus.
What's up?
So it wasn't until, honestly, after I graduated that I feel like certain people started to try to blur the lines. But then, again, for me, it was still more like, even with dating apps, that definitely, let me say, social media, no, dating apps, yes. Social media, though, has, for me, still pretty much been straightforward. Like, even at this point now, I'm like, okay, yes, I got Facebook. I'm talking to my family. Like,
I think that social media and dating apps only really further exposed and confirmed what women were already going through. Because, basically women are being gaslit into things. Yeah. Like, I can't tell you how many stories I've heard, and my own personal experience since, I have given up on the dating apps, is that you realize that it's really not about dating. And even if there is, because I date men, there is a man on there that is looking for a relationship or whatever, it's in the minority. You'll have men that'll say, oh, I want a relationship, I want long term, but I'll even take short term, which is like, wait a minute, which is it? You know what I mean?
Like, and don't say what you're going to say just to think, because it's what I want to hear.
Exactly. And I like the conversations that's coming around it, because women are talking to each other. They're comparing notes, which is what we need to do.
Right.
And we are in community with each other, and we're finding out that, they're playing the same plays from the playbook, right? And that we're not going crazy. And that's one thing I think that's positive that comes out of it. There is a community.
Yep. That's what I don't remember if this was a documentary or if it was a movie or what, but I will never forget. It was a scene, and it was like one girl. No, I think it was a reality show. Mm-hmm. But one girl, like the guy, it was Love Is Blind. So it just came to me.
Oh snap! But, is this the first
this
season?
Is like one of the recent seasons.
I only watched the first season.
I know they just recently hooked me back in.
I can't go ahead.
But the guy literally had said one thing to this girl, then goes back and says it to another girl verbatim.
Oh God!
And the thing is, like, I don't know if you remember, but just like, it's like at the end they kind of have like their top two, and this was the top two. I'm like, sir, like, why would you do that? Number one,
trying to hedge his bets,
but knowing that they are in the same living quarters and they're talking
the audacity.
You got the audacity to be dumb. That's what you got.
But I'm telling you, that's the entitlement. They have the audacity. They've seen someone else do it, or they've done it in the real world, and they think they could get away with it. But more when we come back for our last segment.
Yeah. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Girl What Podcast. If you're just joining us, what in the world? You have the audacity to be late. Speaking of the audacity, that is actually the topic of our conversation today. We're going to jump right into the group chat Got Deep, and that subtitle is going to be Life Just Had to Life. So with that, we just going to hop right into our questions. Esther.
Yes, ma'am.
What is something about adulthood that nobody properly prepared millennials for?
Millennials? Oh my God. I mean, I feel like we were the last, like, rough and tough, hitting the concrete jungle, come back in before the street light comes on. I'm gonna be honest, not teaching us how to be civilized, because we were feral. I think we're the last feral generation, to be honest. We grew up without internet and grew into it, so we know what a rotary phone looks like.
Right.
We know what a house phone looks like. Mm-hmm. We played around with recording voicemails. We had all of that, right? Yeah. I feel like we had to figure stuff out on our own, because we had innovation happening.
Right.
And I think that made us really special.
Oh, no, we're special for sure. Mm-hmm.
And not that the other generations aren't special, but...
No, we special.
We are extra special.
Right. I'm about to say, I always laugh when those things are like, the millennials have been through more than any other.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's ghetto here, y'all.
Oh, but, I have an answer for that. What's something that about adulthood that nobody properly prepared millennials, and I think this can be for any generation, how not to pass on your generational trauma.
True. And that takes a lot of inner work and therapy, like inner work and couches.
Listen, but that would require that you would have to dismantle the society that we're in.
Yeah.
The capitalism, the hierarchy, and somebody said I heard something recently that it's very dangerous to try to wake someone who's sleeping. Mm. I know I'm getting all deep for this episode.
That's good. No, but that's good. And this is the group chat Got Deep. So hey.
So what about you? Perfect. What do you think that what we weren't properly prepared for?
For me, honestly, I learned a lot on my own. So in my situation, like I have, like both of my parents were around. Mm-hmm. But I think they were more concerned about making sure I was happy because they were divorced. And because my parents were so divorced when I was young, I said so divorced. When my parents got divorced when I was so young, I think that was their main goal, rather than honestly trying to teach me ins and outs of living. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not afraid to tell people this. I didn't learn how to cook for myself until I was in my 20s. Like when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, oh, let me start getting to do this. Now, both of my parents will cook their butts off because they were raised in North Carolina. But Lauren, yes, that's my name, Lauren, did not know how to make like I knew how to do basics. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to like frying chicken and stuff like that, no, I never knew any of that. Like literally, not even lying, I fried my first successful piece of chicken earlier this year. At
What?
38 years old, right?
At this big age?
At this big age.
Girl, I'm gonna give you some lessons.
And
Can we get Chef Ty or Chef Michelle up in here real quick?
But yeah, like, no, and I laughed because I actually had reached out to Chef Michelle when I did that, and she was like, "Oh no," she was like, "You did good," like, and I like sent her a picture and stuff like that because it's like, again, I'm having to learn these things on my own because it's like, my mom, she taught MJ how to cook, girl, but why you didn't do the same for me? So, you know, it's a lot of things that I've had to teach myself. Not just even with cooking, just with being able to have
life stuff.
Yeah. And again, because my mom is who she is, I've always been very outspoken. I've always been that person who
hey, Mama
says what I say and put a stamp on it. You know what I'm saying? But just other parts of life, it's like, okay, like, I really need to kind of look back. I need to revisit what I was taught to see if this is really what I believe, if this is what I want for myself. So, I mean, it's all been good, and I'm not like being like, oh my God, no, woe is me, because I found it all to your face.
I'm like, that's never been you.
No, and that's what I'm saying, because, you know, of course, because like the listeners might not know me, so it's like, you know, I've never been one to be like, oh, so now I gotta do this, now I gotta do that. No, like, I take everything with a grain of salt, and I'm like, all right, boom, this is what I need to learn, this is what I teach myself. And even in that, like, with me teaching myself, I'm definitely making sure that I'm passing it on to my child as well, so he won't necessarily have that same, when I get out into this real world on my own, I'm having to discover a lot of things. So that's for me. Again,
do you think millennials are healing, surviving, or just learning how to function while exhausted?
All of it.
All of the above. You left no crumbs with that. I don't disagree.
Yeah, all of it.
How has adulting changed your friendships, relationships, or sense of community?
Friendships, it's definitely helped make it smaller. I don't use the term friend as loosely anymore. I will tell people, I don't even have a circle of friends. I have a period. And then I also will say that my associations circle has grown tremendously. Because again, as you grow older, you see who's there for you. You see who can kind of sense when something's not right, and they'll pick up the phone. Even if you don't answer, they're going to keep calling, because that discernment is within them, and they know, hey, like, something's not off. I mean, something's not right. Something's off. I feel it, kind of thing. Relationships.
Ghetto.
Yes, I would say ghetto. But if you're a long-time listener, you know, I'm not opposed to relationships, but the dating pool is full of sewage, trash, everything like
Biohazard.
that. So you got to go in with your hospital suit on, looking like you. What's the scene from E.T. when they come to get E.T. up the hill? That's what you got to do when you go in, because you never know. You don't want nothing getting attached to you. And then honestly, my sense of community has grown.
Even go in? You gotta do all that work.
Listen, look, and that's what I just look.
Oops, sorry.
I was about to, sorry. I was about to say I gotta stick my prosthetic toe in.
That thing will get burnt off.
Start. But then go into like my.
Don't touch the lava.
Right.
Oh God.
But the floor is lava.
Oh, the floor is lava. Thank you.
Community has grown tremendously, which is something I do appreciate. And then, of course, that's something that we always talk about. Like, you know, community is where it is. So I love it.
I will expand on that. I also started understanding that community isn't the people that are immediately in your proximity.
Yep.
Like, I have community across this world, actually. You know, people that I may not talk to every day, but, you know, when something needs to be delivered to me, it is.
Yep.
And I think that is the amazing thing, because I don't try to lock myself into this idea that has been drilled into me.
Right.
I try to be open. So, yeah, I agree with you on all of that.
I say that's very real, because it's like, you know, I think as we get older, it's really important to have that community. Again, like, just regurgitating what we've always said, because it's like, and again, it's not in one particular area. Yes, you may have a stronger community in one particular area, but there's no amount to the number of members in your community, because you might need something again from across the world, and you might have somebody out there, hey, like, I know we know each other enough and well enough, how can you be of assistance to me so I can help you as well? So and it's not always a one side thing. It's like, I'm going to help you.
It's a symbiosis.
Yeah. So it's definitely one of those things where it's like it's not one sided at all.
Did you want to ask the next question?
What's one thing about your current life that a younger you will be proud of, even if life didn't turn out exactly how you expected?
That I'm still feral. Yes, Eartha. That's my hero, my shero.
Did you ever know that you're
My hero. What about you? What's the one thing about your current life that your younger self would be proud of, even if it didn't turn out how you hoped?
I was actually younger. When I was younger, I was shy, and I was very yes, and I was actually very I can't think of the word. I hated being the fat kid. That's the word. I hate being the fat kid. And I think also what it was, and this is funny to me, back in the day, like, all fat people had the same clothes. It was flowers. It was like a flower print, some kind of floral print, and it was hideous. So my mom would always, and I hated my thighs, right? My mom would always put me in leggings and one of these ugly floral outfits or shirts, and I'll be like, why? And as I look back, I'm like, why would you do this to me? But I understand it's because that's all they have for little fat kids, right? But now it's like, of course, with them being able to do more and have more, it's like, I'm not ashamed of my body as much as I was, right? It's like, because everyone is more body, it's like, okay, we know now a size 2 is not the average size of a
body
woman.
Positivity.
So yes, there is a lot more body positivity. There are a lot more, not even just women, there are a lot more people that are plus size models and doing, things. And it's like, okay, like, you don't have to be ashamed. Just, there are still, of course, unfortunately, going to be people that are going to try to body shame you because you have the confidence that they didn't have. But, that's just something for me, because it's like, okay, I'll throw something on that's comfortable and it's cute. It's like, I'm doing it with taste, but it's still, I'm comfortable. Like, I'm okay with what I have on, kind of thing. So back in the day, that would definitely not be me. So that's something that I would be proud of. But then also, I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but at one point I was also suicidal. I tried to commit suicide, and just, because I wasn't happy with where I was. So I laugh now. I can laugh about this now. I remember Miles waking me up the next day. And I'm like, why is he waking me up? Like, I was like, I don't want to be here. Why is he waking me up? But I can joke at it now because it's like, you know what I'm saying? I've allowed that story to be able to help me relate with so many other people, especially with, the volunteer work that I'm doing now. So just, different little small things that have happened in the past where it's like, in the moment you'll be pissed off or you're not proud of it.
Yeah, you're in your emotions. Yeah.
Right. But then it's like, now it's like, all right, bet, like, I had to go through this for a reason. Like, this is part of my story in order to help others as well. So I feel like that's my whole life, though, with everything I've been through. It's like,
well, life is life, all right?
Yes. I have a shirt that says that. Excuse me, life been life.
I need that. At what moment did you realize, oh, I'm really grown now?
Watch out, world, I'm grown now.
Oh.
That's grownish.
Oh, yeah, that's grownish, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I can't even. I hear that song. You don't know? Well, mine was when I went off to college because I couldn't wait. I could not wait. I felt like my parents were just, well, specifically my mother was always up my butt. She actually wanted me to stay home a year because I was 17. I said, nope, I'm going. And my parents basically made me promise that I wasn't going to get a job my first year. I was going to, focus on studying. And I did the first semester. And the second semester, I was like, nope, I went and got a work studies job. Because it was like, I have time to keep asking my parents for money. And it was just easier to apply for something and go to work and get the money that I needed. And also, I looked at the fact that my parents were caring for another child.
Gotcha.
And I just, I think that just spoke to who I am as an individual, where I didn't want to, A, be a burden, and B, like, why why shouldn't I do it? Because my hands and my feet work, you know?
Right.
So do you know when?
Yes.
That moment for you?
When I got my first apartment by myself.
That's always special.
And I'd already had Mikey. So he was, how was he? He was 2. Yeah, he was, no, he was going to turn 2. So before, we had been living with family, which was also necessary in this whole process, which it actually worked out really well because we stayed with my grandma actually until she passed. And then we ended up moving back to Richmond because we had been in North Carolina. But then it was like, wow, like, we really out, like, you know, I talked to him like he one of my homies. I'm like, bro, like, we really out here, like, it's just you and me. So, you know, that was definitely my like, oh dang, like, I really gotta make sure I'm taking care of not only myself but him as well. So it was like kicking everything into action. I was like, all right, that we gotta do this, gotta do this, and I'm just like, all right, I got it done, and it was all good. So that definitely worked out, and I'm like, I a big girl now.
Listen, this has been a great conversation, but sadly, all good things have to come to an end. Can we get the that's it?
Dassit, y'all. All right, so we about to wrap it up. Again, thank y'all so much for joining us today. If you didn't, you're lost.
Check us out on YouTube.
Again, this episode title was called The Audacity. During What's the Thesis, the subtitle, I Said No. And, you know, we just had talked about the audacity.
I like that, audacity.
The audacity of white women, you know, who are still trying to do what they want after they've been told no. Then when it gets physical, they want to play the victim card. During Love, Baby, and Other Grown Folks Business, the 10-day trial extended. We discussed the audacity of men and women, and the audacity that they have, expecting to be treated like the husband or wife, but there hasn't been any type of conversation to clarify what the status or the intentions are. Then we just wrapped it up with the group chat got deep. Life just had to life. And in this segment, we expressed why we agree that adulting is still ghetto and the realities of growing up as a millennial. So again, if you guys missed any of it, definitely it'll be up on Monday for you.
Yep.
Thank y'all so much for joining us, and y'all have an amazing, amazing weekend.
Yes, peace, love, and hair grease.
Bye. Stay connected to Girl What Podcast by following us online. You can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Girl What Podcast. That's GURLWHET We'd love to keep in touch with you. Come on, keep talking with us. That's what we do, right? So we have our, reflections. If you have any questions, comments, or you yourself want to reflect on anything you've heard us talk about, please don't be afraid to hit us up. Again, you can hit us up in our DMs on Instagram, or if you want to comment under one of our YouTube posts, you're more than welcome to do so. Again, both of those handles are Girl What Podcast, GURLWHETPODCAST.
And you also have the option to leave us a voice memo in our DMs or leave us a voice message at 804-476-0905. Again, that number is 804-476-0905. And with your permission, we may feature it in a future episode. Your voice helps us shape meaningful dialogue on Girl What. So remember to stay in community. Remember to stay bold. And girl, keep talking.